Sounds to me like it must be you, old man. You's got guts, I'll give you that. Mr. Wright, don't leave me to handle this. Do not leave me to handle this alone. Perhaps I can end this embarrassment. Mr. Godot. Let's just go back over Mr. Kudo's testimony one more time. And I have been told for quite a while now that it's supposed to be pronounced Godot, but I don't really care. I naturally say Godot. It's better for me. I just like it better. I would have to force myself to say Godot, and I don't want to go through all that effort. Was the victim he saw the real victim or not? That doesn't matter. The fact remains he saw the accused put the poison into the coffee. No, he didn't. He saw Viola Cadaverini put something irrelevant into some other coffee. Waiting for my absence to launch your attack. Found your pen at last, Wright? It was in my pocket. But anyway. Mr. Kudo witnessed two people that day. He saw the victim, the supposed Mr. Glen Elg, and the waitress from behind. Yes, your point, Mr. Wright? I think the conclusion is obvious. If this Glen Elg was really the killer in disguise, I guess it would have to be, but he's not. Look at his color of his face! And I just got interrupted by a phone call, and now I am back. So, yeah, because the whole thing about him impersonating me, I always assumed that he was disguised. Because, especially at the beginning of the case, it showed in a cutscene that it was Phoenix. It didn't show him, it showed Phoenix. So I assumed, 1, the game was not lying to my face, and 2, that I had to give the judge and the other characters some credit, that they weren't completely retarded, and wouldn't think that this man was me. But if he really did just disguise himself as me by not disguising himself, by just showing up and saying he was me, then that's the dumbest thing of all time, and I guess that would also let him impersonate this guy, but I assumed it was someone else. But anyway. Then surely it's possible the waitress was also part of the show. What? You mean the waitress was an imposter as well? The defendant, Miss Bird, fell unconscious immediately after the incident. And someone used her fainting to hatch an elaborate plan to pin the murder on her. Who on earth was it? Who was this waitress? That would be Viola Cadaverini. We got like 3 people to throw in jail in this case. It's fun. That's the good part. Her name is Viola Cadaverini. She's an employee of Tenderlander. You's making a big mistake. Do you know who Violetta is? You don't even know her name. You better be going home in an armored truck tonight if you know what I mean. Stop shaking, Nick. Where was I? Anyway, the defendant, Miss Bird, has stated the following. Well, when I took the coffee over to the victim's table, it's true there was another customer in the restaurant. She was sort of creepy, and she had a kind of cackling laugh. Yup, that's her. Could only be her. There are just too many contradictions in this case. The second man at the victim's table, who nobody but Miss Bird seems to have seen. The earpiece worn by the victim in his left ear when that eardrum was ruptured. And the radio show he was supposedly listening to half an hour after it was over. There is only one logical explanation that clears up all these contradictions. The whole incident took place twice, once for real and once for show. And Mr. Furio Tigre, the only person who could have committed the crime, was you. Like, all they had to do to make it possible for him to impersonate people is not make him red. And I was interrupted again, and now I am back, so here we go. You's alright. I could do with a guy like you around. But yeah, like, if they just made him, you know, the color of a person, then maybe it would make sense. What do you mean? Okay, I'm in on this game. I'm gonna have to charter a jet to get me to my meeting now, but I'm gonna give you one more thing to think about before I go. Something to think about. You've got it all wrapped up nice, alright? But you've missed out on one real important thing. But that can't be! I was in the joint that day, and I met that kid too. What? Oh, the joint. I thought he meant prison, because that's slang for prison, in the joint. He just meant the restaurant. But I couldn't have poisoned them, you hear? What? Do you really expect us to believe you now, Mr. Tigre? What? What a troublemaker. The troublemaker? Looks like we're going to need another one for the road. What is... One more steaming cup of hot testimony. What is going to happen now? What does he have to say? I will give you one more chance to testify. What happened that day at Tribulations between yourself and the victim? Please do tell. I'm so curious. Yeah, I loaned Al cash, about $100,000. That day, we was due to have a little chat. The kid had hit his payback date, see? So anyway, he tells me he's got no way to pay up. I'm about to flatten the guy when he starts screaming. Yes, I won $500,000. He got lucky, you know, real lucky. If that waitress hadn't done what she'd done, everything would have been over. Everything would have been over? You mean like you and his relationship, because he would have paid back the money and it would have been fine? I see that the principal amount you loaned to Mr. Elg was $50,000. Yeah, well, you've got the The what? Okay, so you do charge interest. Okay. Makes sense. What the fuck's a VIG? Very important guy. It's faster than fast. Yeah. And the repayment deadline was December 3rd, the day of the incident in question? Yeah, he was one lucky kid. He got that $500,000 just in time. So I ain't have no reason to kill the kid. And if I ain't got no motive, you ain't got no case. Huh. I mean, like, yeah, that's actually... I mean, you could just... He won the lottery, so he got the money. So why would you have to kill him? Unless it's the virus, you wanted it to do stuff. But you could just take it. Be like, you know what, kid? Instead of the money, I'm going to take this instead. Or take it and the money. What's he going to fucking do? So yeah. What the hell am I supposed to press here? I feel like that's what I need to bring up, but probably not yet? But I don't know. What should I press here? He's talking about the loan and the debt. I mean, I kind of want to bring that up. What the fuck? What the fuck? Why do I keep getting interrupted? I'm not answering it. No! Please, let me play the game. I just want to finish the case. Anyway, are we good? Can I play the fucking game now? Everybody in the world who wants to stop me from experiencing the rest of this case? I'm not going to let you do it. I'm going to finish it. Finish it right here and now. Ugh. Okay, so yeah, that's... Yeah. What the hell am I supposed to... I can't think of anything to present at all to any of this. So I guess I'll press this one because... I don't know, all the other ones are all like the same. They're all about the loan, and they're all pretty much factual. The waitress, you mean... The girl with the glasses in the defendant's chair. Who else could I mean? If she hadn't got in the way, things would have been bada bing, bada boom, over and done with. Maybe I should push a little on this. Fuck. Oh my god. Well, no, not about what Maggie did. That doesn't make any sense. What do you mean things would have been over and done with? Are you all there or what? I'm talking about the cash. I was there to get my $100,000 back, that's all. I'm a businessman. It was all coming together before that waitress got in the way. As far as I can tell from the witness's testimony, other than recouping his loan, Mr. Tigre had no motive for killing the victim. I guess I gotta go with MC Bomber. That's the only other thing involved. Here you go. Where is it? So you just intended to get back the $100,000, Mr. Elgodio, correct? I loaned the guy the cash, so that's my right. Unfortunately for Mr. Elg, I don't believe the $100,000 is what you were after.
Objection.
What are you getting at, trite? What else would a moneylender be after other than money? Lenders? Oh, the moneylender was after money, but money in a totally different league. The kind of money that a single disc like this would fetch. What is that? A computer virus, Your Honor. A virus called MC Bomber. A computer virus? What does one of those do? A computer virus is a program that wreaks havoc on the insides of a computer. A computer? What does one of those do? I guess the beard isn't the only part of His Honor that is from the Stone Age. I'll explain it to you later, Your Honor. Right now, this is the important point. A virus like MC Bomber would be worth several $1 million on the black market. Several $1 million? Lending money with no hope of ever seeing repayment would normally be bad for business. But in this case, the very fact that Glenn Elg had no way to repay the money is crucial. What? Glenn Elg was a programmer, a highly skilled programmer. That skill was the collateral Mr. Elg put up in order to borrow the money. Objection! You're trying to suggest the witness's motive was to get hold of that program? Exactly. The witness may have poor fashion sense, but he is by no means an idiot, trite. A man like him could get his hands on $1 million without resorting to murder. Of course he could, provided that he had time. But what if he had needed the money right then? He could have literally picked it up off the table and walked out. What the fuck would Glenn have done? This guy's twice his size, and orange red. Was he gonna call the police? I made a super virus, guys. Please get it back for me. Oh yeah, that's gonna happen. When the pressure's on, the luxury of choice tends to disappear. In fact, that would have been the thing that would have saved him the most time. Literally punch him in the face one time, grab it, and walk away. Or don't even punch him. Just grab it and say, okay, I'll be taking this. And then Glenn will stand up and be like, wait, you can't do that. And he'll be like, who's gonna stop me? And then Glenn will sit back down and be like, oh fuck. And then that's the end of it! Doesn't really sound like murder needed to happen. Seems you have a logical conclusion for this theory, Mr. Wright. Would you care to share it with us? Why did Mr. Tigre need money to the tune of $1 million? For Viola's thing. In December of last year, you found yourself in need of a huge amount of money. About 6 months ago, you were involved in a traffic accident, weren't you? An accident involving a car and a scooter in which a young woman was injured. She was taken to the hospital. What are the odds? How weird is that a car would hit a scooter and the one in the car is the one with the big injuries? How does that even work? That's weird. Where did yours get all this info? I guess it's possible, it's just strange. These medical papers document the treatment of the young woman in question. According to these, her operation cost $1 million. A payment for these expenses was due in December of last year and was paid in full. $1 million? A preposterous sum. Someone should sue these HMOs. No one would pay a bill like that. If the medical association got wind of it, the hospital would end up as dead as a morgue. Morgues are not dead. They are in fact buildings and do not have life. Thus cannot be dead. But Mr. Tigre had no choice but to pay, because his very life depended on it. Okay. Order, order, order! You say his life depended on it, Mr. Wright? Indeed it did, simply because the injured woman was none other than Viola Cadaverini. Did you say Cadaverini? Bruto Cadaverini, mob boss in charge of all underworld activities in the city, and doting grandfather to his precious Violetta, also known as Viola Cadaverini. Your life was in danger unless you paid compensation to the boss, correct? It makes sense. You were desperate to acquire the $1 million Cadaverini demanded of you. So desperate, in fact, that you decided to sacrifice Glenn Elg's life to pay your debt. For some reason. On the day of the murder, Mr. Tigre's sole intention was to get his hands on this CD. Glenn Elg had no way of paying back the $100,000, and Mr. Tigre knew it. But then a miracle happened. The kind that Mr. Tigre would prefer to say never happened, but he can't, neither can I. The lottery win? Exactly, at the 11th hour, Mr. Elg won $500,000 on the lottery, which left Mr. Tigre with no way of getting his hands on the all-important CD. At last, he could just fucking take it! At least no legitimate way. And this, and the whole complicated fucking fake setup thing, was a huge waste of time, and is the reason he's being called out on it to begin with. Like, that's the whole reason that we were able to sniff out contradictions in the first place. That's crazy. He murdered Glen Elg and then made his next move, to frame Maggie Bird for the crime. Mr. Tigre posed as Glen Elg, while Viola Cadaverini played the role of Miss Bird. And then they reenacted the whole thing in order to establish a witness. He's the only one that's not guilty of anything. The witness being the one we all heard testify yesterday, Mr. Victor Kudo. Like I said, Trite, that's crazy. No one could pull off a stunt like that. No one would! But should they be really dumb and decide to, they probably could in this world. There's no way the chef wouldn't have been kept out of it. Well, he was fucking hiding the body! He's part of it too! Have you forgotten already, Mr. Godot? Mr. Armstrong owed the witness money too. $500,000, in fact. That's the exact amount for the lottery ticket, so there you go. It's all rather perfect. He had no choice but to go along with Mr. Tigre's plan. Well, he didn't have no choice. He had a choice. Order, order, silence, or I will clear the courtroom. You've put on a good show, Spiky. If yous want to stay alive in the loan shark business, you gotta be careful. You saying I dressed up like that kid, created a witness, and framed someone? If I did something crazy like that, I'd leave a trail as bright as my shirt. Or my skin. I ain't dumb enough to do something sloppy like that. The skin thing is so stupid. Like, nobody involved was like, oh, also, the guy that I saw was red. Like, nobody... It's stupid. I'm sorry, but it's fucking retarded. Like, that isn't... It's idiotic. And it was totally arbitrary because they didn't need to make his skin unnatural. They could have made him fucking just the same race as everybody else in these games. They're all white Asian, whatever they are, and just make him that and make him look the same as Glenn, and it's like, there you go. Just make him like a normal looking dude who's good at disguising, and he disguised himself as Phoenix, he disguised himself as Glenn. Don't make him a guy with the same hair as me, who's red, with a scar on his face. Despite your appearance, you are very careful. That's why you took one more precaution. One more trick to make sure Miss Bird had no way out. What? Another one, Mr. Wright? Interesting. Why don't you fill us all in, Trite? Unless he, like, did put on makeup or something, and he did that for me, too, but I don't think so? What was this trick you say? He performed to frame the accused. Okay, well, she had the stuff on her. He put the stuff in her pocket. But, I mean, I think we already kind of covered all that. And then he pretended to be me to... Yeah, so I guess it's that. There's this. I'd love to... I really want all the details on that so I can know exactly how it went down, because my god. What on earth is that? What an insult to think anyone could be fooled. Oh, you motherfucker. Consider yourself insulted, Your Honor. Mr. Tigre, you didn't just pose as the victim on the day in question. A month ago, in this very court, you posed as me. What? That's the truth. But the witness looks nothing like you, Mr. Wright. Although, now that I think about it, it was you, wasn't it? No doubt it was you, standing in here, this very court, a mere month ago. The Phoenix Wright who put up the most disreputable, shabby defense I had ever seen. So he wasn't, like, disguised. It was literally just him. My god. Prove the attorney, like, the guys in these games do dumb shit all the time, but that is too much. That is too... No. No. Are you prepared to take the stand and testify that it was him? I'd like to see the judge fucking down there. That'd be interesting. Forget about it, yeah? I wouldn't do something like that. Not me. You made a mistake, right? It was someone else, huh? Have you no pride, sir? Pride's for lions. I'm a tiger. This isn't a matter of pride. In case you didn't know, Wright, here in court we deal with people's lives. Ugh. Mr. Godot is right, Your Honor. Speaking for myself, I am absolutely convinced. The attorney in question was the witness standing before me now, however. I preside over this court as the judge, with the vested power to hand down a verdict. Someone in my position cannot be swayed by a memory without evidence to support it. No! Well... If the defense has no further evidence, the court will now excuse the witness. The circumstances surrounding Mr. Tigre are dubious for sure, but not conclusive. But we've come so far. You say he impersonated Glen Elk, you say he impersonated you, but none of that adds up to a murder charge. You don't have a shred of evidence that the witness poisoned the victim's coffee. I hope I do. Sucks to be you, Wright. Don't mess with the tiger or you're gonna get mauled. You've got that... Don't stick your head in a lion's mouth. You're gonna die. Tell that to that kid from the last game. But I was so close to getting him to admit his own guilt. Looks like I won't be needing a refill. If I just had one more piece of evidence. One more piece of evidence and maybe I could get Maggie off the hook. I mean, we gotta get Gumshoe back here with the fucking thing with the thing. The prints on the thingy. And Gumshoe. Thank you. Your Honor, sir? Pal? My boy! You got that devil fruit bag ready to go. Why are all the bags in this game like that? It was like that in Case 2 also. Detective Gumshoe! Sorry I took so long, pal. And that image of him storming in like that was awesome. I want that to be the thumbnail if I remember. I probably won't. Anyway. He's so smiley and happy. So here it is. My heart's counting on this, too. What is it, Detective? Isn't it obvious, pal? It's the final decisive piece of evidence. What? What? A lot of chatter. Oh, what the fuck? What? What's happening? But the prints, pal, from this medicine bottle. Oh, so do you know who the prints belong to now? Do you think I'm some kind of hack detective? Of course I know. So, tell us. They're the tigers, right? I knew it. Heh heh heh. You bet. Clear as crystal all over the bottle. The Furio Tigre's paw. Why is this happening out here? That's great. We've got him now, Nick. What's wrong with you? You've hardly said a word since Detective Gumshoe got here. He's laid everything on the line for this, Nick. Maggie's gonna love him for this. Do you see how badass he was when he stormed in like that? Oh, she's gonna fucking be all over him. I know. Look, I'm sorry. This is kind of hard to say, but it really doesn't make any difference whose prints are on the bottle now. Huh? What? Why not? What we need to produce at this stage in the trial is irrefutable evidence that the tiger put poison in Glen Elk's coffee. He's already admitted that he met the victim. The fact that his prints are on this bottle, that really doesn't make any difference now. Gumshoe was still awesome. Great, no matter how hard I try, I'm never of any use. Hey, don't be so hard on yourself. This is our last chance to help Maggie, and I've been working on some useless piece of evidence the whole time. It's alright, I'm a real loser. It's not breaking news to me, pal. No, you're not. Detective Gumshoe? Maggie? You've been working on something for me? We have more weenies for you, too, if you want them. I know you didn't do it, and I'm a detective. We're supposed to be able to prove stuff like that. I'm really sorry. I'll get out of your hair now. Detective Gumshoe, wait! He's gone. Oh, isn't there anything we can do now, Nick? I wish there was. Gumshoe worked so hard to get that evidence. If only there was some way I could use it. There's gotta be. I have to set this ship a-sailin'. The Maggie and Gumshoe one. Gotta make it official. Gotta get them together with this. Come on.